right, well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here today, and also for accommodating your schedules, as I said earlier, to make it that I could come. As I mentioned, I'm Ann Snyder, and I'm running for the position 6, and have had a very keen interest in the Woodlands and the greater area surrounding the Woodlands since we moved here 26 years ago. I have felt that I bring to the table to run for the Woodlands Township a very unique perspective. I have worked with all social economic groups, I've worked with all ages, and I have worked with all faith-based in this community that we live. And so I think that brings a very unique perspective. I truly, truly do. As you all may know, the Woodlands was built with HUD money. And so we have HUD housing in the Woodlands, which a lot of people are not aware of. We have a great affluence, but we also have the HUD housing. And I think what I've given to all ages is the power of voice. I served for a number of years on the CISD Board of Trustees, 2 terms as chairman of that board. And during my leadership, we had some major challenges. Some of you who were here in 2003 may remember some of those. Under my leadership and with the work of the other board members, we were able to overcome those challenges and hired an incredible superintendent who is still with us today, Dr. Don Stockton, and that's one of the greatest leaders in this entire community. My governing style has always been transparent. It has been in my career, as well as when I was on the CIC Board of Trustees, when I served on any of the community boards. Anything that I've ever done has always been going through the process and being transparent in that. I tend to I don't want to say be direct, but I guess most of my colleagues would say that I am, but you always know where I stand. I'll listen, take in that information, and do what is best and what the constituents, be it on the Board of Trustees and or interfaith, as well as the Woodlands would like. Our service area, I serve as president and CEO of 2 nonprofits, Interfaith of the Woodlands and Interfaith Community Clinic. I'm not salaried at the community clinic. Their board came to our board almost 5 years ago, and that clinic was struggling and asked us to, in the nonprofit world, you say partner. And we did, and we have done it very, very well. And we turned that clinic around in almost 7 months and able to get funding from the Houston Endowment and other areas to, it's a primary care. It's a charity clinic for people who cannot afford insurance. And it does remarkable things for lots of people. I've been at Interfaith of the Woodlands for 12 years. When I came 12 years ago, it too had some challenges. And with the great staff, great team that I have, we were able to make it as one of the most highly respected nonprofits in the greater Houston area. And I'm very happy to be here today.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, Pam, if you want to start off.
Okay, we just had a bond,
Yes.
a road bond. I'd like to know what your position was on that bond and why. And now we have another bond that's supposed to be on the November ballot. How do you feel
Okay.
about that?
Okay. My position on the May bond, I did not take a public stand on that, but I voted for it. Montgomery County is in dire need of roads. Do a lot of work over in the Riley-Fussell area, and if you have not been on the east side of 45 and some of the other areas, it is greatly needed. No, there was a lot of contention about the Woodlands Parkway extension, and did I want that to happen? Absolutely not. But looked at a bigger picture than that. I'll be very honest, and shared with the other forums that I voted for. With that said, no, we have a bond this November, and I'm for it. If there is things that happened, and the bond does not happen, and is not allowed, then of course, will not. But I think that we need to address, there's too much traffic. We need to, as a county, do something about that. And hopefully this will begin to address, it won't be the ultimate answer, but it will begin to address some of the needs we have. No, when I was coming here this evening, I left a little bit after 4 just to be sure, and I live in Grogan's Mill, just to be sure I could be here by 5 o'clock because of what we have.
Okay, Dennis?
You know, growth and traffic are two of your major concerns. Too much traffic is, you know, we're never gonna catch up on roads or a lot of other things. So, would you be in favor of, or is there a way to stop growth? Lock the borders down, stop letting people in, stop building houses?
I would never be for something like that. I'm very honest. I think good things are for sharing. We're fortunate to live in this incredible county and the place where we live. I think why people come here is because it is so good. I'm a proponent of that. I know there's a tremendous growth, but it's because of the lifestyle that we've all, I don't know how long you've all lived here, but we've created for families, for seniors to come here. Our school system is exemplary, the job growth. Both of my children went away to school. Their best job offers, and our son went to MIT, was right here. And as a parent, it was wonderful to have them come back.
So you would see that our traffic problem is basically perpetual.
Well, I don't think unless we do something else.
We'll never catch up, and
unless
we're
we
not
want-
gonna stop the
Well,
growth.
I'm hoping that the leadership can come to some type of solution that we can do better than what we've done. That road bond is long overdue, and we were behind the, I don't want to say 8-horse, but we were behind to do what we've done, and hopefully we can address that and move forward.
And the commissioners say we actually need about $1.5 billion. So if this road bond doesn't fix it, which it won't, hasn't
No, I
failed,
agree.
there'll be another one, and then another one, and then another one.
I'm not big on debt. I operate under 3 very basic principles in the organizations that I've led. We treat everyone with respect. We have one level of performance, and that is excellence, and we're always in the black. And have been able to turn around both the Interfaith Community Clinic and Interfaith of the Woodlands to make that happen. I know it's much bigger than where we are now, than either of those nonprofits, but I've never been a proponent of debt. I grew up in the Midwest.
Before we go to Brian, can I follow up on that?
Uh-huh.
So you were on the school board. How long were you on the school board?
I was on the school board 15 years.
Conroe Independent?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. My
All right.
background is education.
Okay, so right now, we're $1 billion in debt just for CISD. And the consideration is for the bond that's coming up in November election is gonna be, I think, what, 470 million?
Yes.
That's $1.5 billion for one county, actually smaller than a county. If you're not for debt, how do you reconcile that?
Okay. I think where the school district has been very prudent and very good is being able to lower taxes throughout the last tenure, and at the same time offer and build the schools that we need. One, there has been not a lot of choice in that we do not build schools with the incredible growth that we have. I cannot speak on behalf of the school district, I can only speak for myself, but I think the school district has done a superb job in managing what they have, and know both Dr. Stockton and Dan Cox could address that much better than I.
Well, got about a minute left, so
Yes.
I'm just kind of curious.
Well, you just
because-
said that you were against debt, and
Well,
then you said you
yeah.
were for all this billion debt,
Yeah,
so
but in
it
this
don't make
case,
sense.
okay, I will concur. On a personal note, have never been in favor of debt. At the same time, with the school district, I don't think there has been a reason other than having the different school bonds that have passed since the mid-90s bond, and they've passed overwhelmingly for that, and the community sees that need. So in this case, it's had, there's been a justification for that. But on a personal note, I have never operated in that sense.
Did you vote against any of those bonds when you were a school board member? Or,
No, Adam, was out in the public supporting them.
Frank?
So, back to your interfaith work. So when you, I guess they do a lot of work with people who don't have enough money to pay for basic necessities. So how do you deal with the issue of people who work in the cash world partially, and then so they basically use checks to say they make this much money, but they also make this much money in cash, but how do you deal with people that when they come to you
Okay.
to know whether they should be getting stuff or not?
Okay. We do not do case management, which would allow us to use the type of system that you've just described. What we do is help people in crisis. So any one of us could come to Interfaith, I lost my job, you lost your job, and show that, and we will help you. We give you the tools you need to get back on your feet. We're not an ongoing nonprofit. We provide job training, we have a food pantry, we do clothing, we also do rent assistance, utilities, prescriptions, gas, and help people find jobs so that they can be self-sufficient. 99%.
So do you give them food to get through, or?
Oh, yes, and the food
But you don't
is-
really do a lot of analytics
Well,
to determine whether they're before some poverty level?
We qualify them. We
Okay,
qualify them.
okay.
So if someone comes in and they've lost their job, or their house is burned down, or like in
Okay.
Hurricane Ike, Katrina, that whole Timber Lakes, Timber Ridge that had so many challenges, we helped give them rent assistance for a little bit longer than we normally do.
Mhm.
Most people cannot afford a mortgage and 6 months in a security deposit. What we want to do is give people the tools they need to get back on their feet. And
Okay.
it's not long-term, except for some of our seniors, and we might be it gas cards, prescriptions, and food. We will do that more long-term than others. But we treat everyone with respect and ideally help them get self-sufficient.
Right.
And we
What's the
think that's
budget?
good.
Can I just insert, what's the budget, annual budget for Interfaith?
Close to $24 million.
Sorry.
A lot of that is, we are job training. We contract with the Houston Galveston Area Council, and we operate 13 career offices in 9 counties. So we are bigger than just Interfaith of the Woodlands.
Okay, so you operate 9 counties?
Well, it depends on our services.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. It depends on our services. Every one of our programs has different service areas.
Okay.
For instance, our Child Development Center, we have this wonderful school that is tuition-based, so you could live anywhere, pay tuition and attend. But we also have scholarships for people if they would lose their job rather than tell them their kids can't stay. We want to provide the child care so that you can go out and get your job. Then we also provide child care at Lone Star Montgomery for kids with kids so they can go back to school. And we have a contract with Lone Star Montgomery to do that. It's incredible. So that is that service area. Our program and services, which is the rent, or mortgage, gas, prescriptions, food, hand-me-up shop, etc., is South Montgomery and a pocket of North Harris. And then our job training is in 13 career offices in 9 counties. So we go as far north as Huntsville, as far south as Liberty, Bay City, Waller, Westheimer, Willowbrook, and it's to help people with job resumes, employment opportunities, to give them the tools they need so they can be self-sufficient. Big believer of that. And we want you, after we help you, then to come back and give so then we can help someone else. And we have a high success rate with that, very high.
So we talked a little about road bonds.
Yes.
One thing the road bonds kind of put to the side was transit. What's your view on providing township money to improve transit both intra township and into the towns in Houston?
Well, I think it's a challenge, and can alleviate some of the wider scope. If you would read Mr. Mitchell's original development plan that was dated in '72, it says mass transit was part of that. For my husband personally, he did the mass transit when he worked down in Houston, and it was good. We have a lot of seniors, a lot of challenged people who are transportation dependent. So my question to anyone is, how can they get from point A to point B unless we do something? Mr. Mitchell started Interfaith of the Woodlands before he officially opened the Woodlands, to bring the corporate, faith-based, and civic groups together, to build a more loving and caring community, to help people regardless of social economic, regardless of needs, and I think that's what has made that community different. I think it's that generosity of spirit of helping someone else.
When you say mass transit, are you talking about just buses, or are you talking about light rail?
Okay, well, his did not do light rail. That would not be
He
something
kinda
today.
predated light rail,
Yeah,
really.
probably so. But I think the bus transportation would be one. We have, or the trolleys or whatever to help people get. We have individuals that interfaith takes to and from doctors because they do not have another opportunity, or they have no family to take them to work. And I think it is everyone's right to be taken care of.
Okay. So if you're elected, how will you do your interfaith is a full-time job,
Yes.
just like a lot of the other board members have
Mhm.
full-time jobs, so I would assume that it would be the same thing. Would you have any problem areas of making the meetings at the township?
Oh, not at all. I probably, during my 15 years, may have missed 2 meetings at the school board. Every function we had, I attended. I always give 110%, and always have, of anything that I've ever done. So it's something that I did visit with my executive committee and shared with them that it was my plan to run. So if there was a conflict in the very beginning, I put it out on the table, and there was not.
Great. Question number 3, what 3 changes would you like to see implemented in the township? Number 3, security of our hometown is high priority. We must have a high presence of law enforcement. How do you propose to do that?
Well, currently, I know there is the township contracts with the sheriff's office for additional law enforcement. I personally would continue that. I like that myself or my children can be on the bike paths, can be out and not have to worry about safety. I think that's one of the assets of our community. Safety is first and foremost, and I would continue that.
Do you think that it's adequate now, or would you add to it or not?
Well, as the community grows, I think you'll have to add to it. Just it's a numbers thing. When we first moved here in the 80s, I think we had 3. Yeah, I mean, it was
Okay.
very, very small.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so how much money, funding does Interfaith get from the township
Okay.
right now?
We receive funding for transportation. We have a contract with them for that, depending on, it's approximately $60,000. We also have a contract, as of this current year, do not receive funding, but have in past for what we call serving our seniors, where we go out to homes in our community that are identified, that are out of compliance with the covenants of the township, and we will go out and help rebuild fences. These are predominantly individuals with fixed incomes, and we'll go out and build fences, clean up the yard, repair roofs, paint, things like that. Prior to this past year, we would receive maybe I think the max was $300 a house. And we generally went out and did other things in order to do that. After meeting with the township, we agreed that anything over $500 we would absorb, but that they would support the first $500 per house. So those are our two monetary contracts.
And the first one, the funding
Is
is
60,000 for transportation.
transportation.
We invoice. If we don't use it all, we do not receive it all. We invoice it every month, and it's predominantly they're individuals who are transportation dependent. On 242, there is a complex that is for both physically as well as mentally challenged individuals. It's right on 242, right before 1488. Many of residents have their siblings or parents or live there, and that's one of ours, as well as the senior complexes, predominantly in Panther Creek and Grogan's Mill. But it might be someone who lives in Alden Bridge and is transportation dependent.
Okay.
John, can I just
Yeah.
ask one question in regard to all that? Due to the fact that your interfaith receives money from the township, then that puts you in kind of a precarious
Oh,
situation.
absolutely, it's a
How would
conflict
that-
of interest.
How would you handle it?
Yeah, I would abstain. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, there'd be no question to that.
Abstain in the vote or abstain in the conversation?
In both.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important. If there's any second thoughts of me running for this position, is did not want to in any way jeopardize Interfaith of the Woodlands or the Interfaith Community Clinic. They both do so much good for so many people. Interfaith of the Woodlands does over 1 million service contacts every year, and it's big, and our clinic has 8,000 patient visits. We operate a clinic very small staff. We have 3 full-time, one of whom is me, and I'm generally, I work on Saturdays there if we are open just as a receptionist, but my background's not healthcare, it's administrative or education.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any goods and services that you think that the Woodlands ought to be providing that they don't? If so, what?
Well, I think it, and I know one of your questions was, do you think they should fund a lot of the interfaith programs? I think that we need to provide the services for our residents. When you ask what we do not right now provide, I think the township, working in partnership with other entities, has done a good job.
Okay, so there would be no.
But not that I know of. Possibly something might come to light when I'm there, Pat, but not that I know of at present. Not that I know
Like
of.
for instance, the skating rink, or
Yeah.
like the Olympic pool, or.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did not,
Yeah.
I was thinking more interfaith driven than the other. Oh, would you ask your question again?
Okay, are there any goods or services,
Okay.
or such as the
Or
ice rink,
projects.
Yeah.
or projects that you think that the township should provide for the Woodlands residents?
That they're not.
Okay, one is, I think one of the things, I don't know if it's township funding or not, but I'd love to see some type of fine arts in the Woodlands. I really, really would.
Museum?
Yes, I just, I think as this whole area grows, again, I don't know if it's really a township funding, but that's one thing that I think this community is lacking, is in the fine arts. The skating rink appears to be enjoyed by everyone. I think the township has already purchased land in conjunction with the pavilion.
But we're trying to figure out what you would vote for.
Oh,
Would you-
okay, well,
would
I
you-
think one of the skating rink is a done thing, so it, be it for or not, but I would vote for something with the fine arts. I think
Okay.
we need to, or at least have discussion to look into that and see if it's feasible. I think it's something that we don't have.
You mentioned that the water taxes probably should be paid for with hotel taxes.
Yes.
And presumably, those taxes are to be used for something. So what would have to suffer to redirect that money?
Yeah, well, I think the hotel goes with the CBB, then they would be for marketing on the CBB. It's my understanding that the cruisers were given to the township, and the township turned around and gave it back to the CBB, and I think the contract expires in December, or they'll sell in December.
So where do the hotel taxes go now?
Right now, it's my understanding that they go to the CBB, Convention Visitors Bureau.
Which uses them
And Todd,
Do what?
to bring in clients for the hotels.
Promote.
So if you,
It's in their promotion.
so if you diverted that money to run the taxes, then they wouldn't have any more money for advertising.
Well, that's where the water cruisers came underneath the CBB this past year.
So do you see any conflict of interest with the hotel businesses lobbying to get this tax to promote their business?
Well, I think part of the Convention and Visitors Bureau is to bring people here to help us with the sales and hotel tax, to keep our property taxes low.
So my question is, do you see it as conflict of interest on the business part?
On the, like hotels on there? No.
So your last statement, I don't know quite how you said it, every person should receive a basic amount of services, something like that. And I don't want to misquote.
I don't think I quite said that, but I may
Yeah.
have.
Well, okay, so I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, and you can clarify that. But I
Okay.
guess my question is, so if every person has a right to receive X or something, does that mean it's the responsibility of everybody to provide it? And if so, whose decision of what level of services do we go off?
Okay. One, I think it's important for individuals to be self-sufficient. But in some cases, for instance, seniors on fixed income or people who are physically or mentally challenged, I've always believed that it's neighbor helping neighbor. Do I think that it's something that is mandated? No. I think it's something that is important, be it with the faith-based community as well as with the nonprofits. Does the corporate business community support the nonprofits? Absolutely.
Well,
on that. So
I don't want to
think-
confuse corporate versus governmental.
Okay.
Because, yeah, every individual or corporation can choose what they want, but when it comes to a tax, a government entity where there's no choice, that's kind of where I'm
Okay, I'm sensitive.
asking the thing. So if people want to give, I mean, we have responsibilities to our neighbor in some portion, but what level that is, who decides? So in the government realm, I guess my question is, the private sector, that's the private sector, but in the government realm, is it government's, and maybe you're mixing the two, and I would understand why you would, but.
Yeah, no, and apologize if I did not, let me clarify. I think it's the individual person. Do I think the government should take care of people? No. I think people should take care of themselves.
But
in
isn't,
some
but isn't
cases
the
they can.
Woodlands,
Well, the township's out of our,
It's a government thing,
24,
right?
they're giving us $60,000. So in our big scheme of budget, do we appreciate that? Absolutely. The residents who live in the Woodlands, who pay taxes, who are transportation dependent, and it's a very small in the township's budget as well as in our budget to make sure that a senior that lives right there can go to the doctor. So, I mean, that
and so then,
$60,000 is
well,
very
with,
small.
okay, and then with all these, okay, I'll pass
No,
it
go
by.
ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm out of time, out of
Okay,
time.
okay.
He can't.
So
We'll come
if,
back to that.
so if I got the numbers right, you have Interfaith gets 24 million a year, budget is 24
Yeah,
million a year.
approximately.
They're getting roughly 60,000 from the township. What are
For
the others?
transportation.
What are the other
Okay.
revenue streams?
Okay, well, we have several. We do a directory, a phone book that creates revenue that was started in the very, very beginning when Reverend Gabbert went on a moped to meet us, list our names and families, and we still do that today. So that's one of our revenue generators. It's both digital as well as in print. Another one is our hand-me-up shop. It's a resale shop that does very well. We provide vouchers to people, but we also have a revenue base right there. We also have through different special events, we have 4 big events throughout the year that brings. But our biggest contract that allows us to do the many services that we do that allows us, if you would give us $5 or 500,000 or 5,000 or $50, whatever the amount is, we have a contract with the Houston Galveston Area Council that operates the 13 career offices in 9 counties, and that is the bulk of that. There's an admin piece with that allows us to have an incredible back end. Our admin is very, very small. It is 7% of our total budget. We all wash windows, myself included. We have the bulk from that, so that is the bulk.
But that's
And
a
then our
government
school-
agency, right?
That is, that comes through the Department of Labor.
So what percentage of the 24 million is?
Well, 16 is, this past
16
year,
million,
16,
okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
the bulk of it, the
Okay.
bulk of it.
Now, what does
is,
HGAC do? They have a matching
Well,
fund?
what we did in the late 80s, probably some of us are too young to remember, but those of us who are older, the banking and
That's
oil and
nice.
gas industry had challenges. And so Mr. Mitchell came to Interfaith and asked Interfaith to create some type of job training program. We created the Interfaith Training Employment Project. We did so well that to help people find jobs, to help them with their resumes, to do counseling, things that at that time corporate did not have, that many of the corporations have today. We did so well, the next year we received a $100,000 grant from the Houston Galveston Area Council to, after that, we continued to operate some of their career offices. We do it very, very well. We are their longest contractor, and we receive funding it's predominantly in and out money that operates these 13 career offices that pays for, fixed costs, salaries, rent, and helps people. I lost my job. I could go, we have one in Conroe on 105 North, and I go there. You can help me with the resume, you can help me find a job. We have companies that come and have openings, and we do job fairs. Our whole goal is to help people get back on their feet.
So
Is
if you
that
get
separate
16,
from the Workforce Commission?
That's what it is.
It
Thank
is
you.
the Workforce
But it is,
Commission?
yes.
It's Texas
Under-
agency, right?
It's under Texas Workforce
Yes,
Commission?
yes.
Okay, funded by HGAC.
That's right. Well, funded by the State Department, that it funnels from the Department of Labor down.
Then y'all are
Yeah.
contracted to run it?
We run, we run 13 career offices in 9 counties. Not all
so
of it,
does
not
that
all of
mean,
it.
so does that mean you get 8 million from private donations and 8
We
million
get a
matching?
lot. No, the 16 million, when you ask the total budget, is, the 17 million is from Houston Galveston Area Council. And then the rest of it is from our different events, our different fundraisers.
So it's
as
not
well.
really matching funds at
Oh, no,
16
it's not matching funds at all.
Okay, I
If
thought-
you
okay.
apply that, no, it's
Okay.
to operate, it's only used to operate
okay.
the career offices.
Okay.
And so, but it's part of our budget, so when you asked, did not want to say X when it's Y. So we have a director of our workforce services. We also manage then the customer support center that's on 610.
But that's part of the Texas Employment Commission?
It's part of the workforce on that.
Texas Workforce Commission?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that a Texas budget item?
They're giving 16 million to her to make it work.
Well, they're giving it to HGAC first, man.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
HGAC
but we
can-
have a contract with HGAC.
Okay.
Their workforce department, and we've done it for a long time, we do it very well. So,
Okay,
um,
who's, Ken?
All right, that was,
Oh,
okay.
oh, okay.
On our questionnaire, number 20, we were asked about Woodlands founder George Mitchell, Godfather of Sustainability, and I know you worked with him hand in hand over the years. What do you know about Agenda 21, and how does that tie into George Mitchell's plan?
Number 21 was,
20.
20.
oh, I'm sorry, okay. From his original development plan in 72, as well as we all know, sustainability was very, very important. But when he would come and visit, and I knew him through Interfaith, we were not personal friends by any means, but was very fortunate a number of times, especially when I first started, to have the opportunity to spend a day with him and to hear about the wonderful things that he had planned. You know, some of the things that he had planned did not come to fruition, and some have. Some he would be possibly, oh, thank you. Well, I can't speak for him, but I do know that sustainability was most important. And one of the things, be it a nonprofit or be it individual people, when we talked about interfaith, did he then give us a lot of money? No. But he helped us get started. He gave us the foundation so that we, as an organization, could sustain ourselves. And we have done that, and something he was very proud of with that.
Give me, I guess, a definition of his sustainability.
Well, to me, it would be, sustainability would be, I'm gonna grope. I'm gonna pass on that, because I'm not sure what his definition would be in order to speak and be taped.
What would be yours?
Well, sustainability, and I'll take it in mine, is that you're able to, be it the foliage, the forestry, or individual people, that you can continue to,
Go ahead.
okay, that you can continue and sustain the lifestyle that you would want.
I'm sorry, that you please sustain.
Be it the lifestyle or the environment that we have.
Okay. Just to follow on that, he actually wrote a book about that. Did you ever get a chance to read that?
No, I did not, and that's why I'm stumbling.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I used to call on Mitchell Energy, and when I had heard and had seen some of the videos of him pushing the sustainability concept, and I was like, whoa. And he could be considered certainly the godfather of sustainability. It has developed a very negative connotation amongst those that believe in private property rights, because it's almost advocating a collectivism effort. So I think that I'm almost actually, and I wrote a one-page summary on it, and I'm almost positive that's exactly what he meant when I looked through that book. What side do you kind of agree with? Because everybody says they like George Mitchell's vision, but that was his vision, was collectivism, more than it was
Well, define
private property.
collectivism.
Collectivism is, at the extreme, maybe USSR.
Well.
Communism, socialism,
Okay,
all
well,
of what we have
that's
now.
not my sustainability. Mine would be self-sufficiency, but I'm a big believer of private property and private rights. Always
Yeah.
have been,
Yeah.
always have been.
Because things changed a lot when he sold the Woodlands. You could tell by the initial houses that we had,
Mhm.
very small ones that are in communities right across from Wilkerson.
Oh,
to be
yes,
exact.
and know those. I live in Grogan's Mill, have lived in the same house for 26 years.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
know those, and then you know some of the bigger homes now that we have. I don't know how much he envisioned a Carlton Woods or even a Sterling Ridge from that
Yeah.
perspective. I
Yeah.
think it was more of a, have your little plot of land, but you have a house and that was it.
Yeah,
So,
well, that, I know he lived in Grogan's Mill on, down North Millbend, but, again, I cannot speak for him, but I do know that he felt strongly that all walks of life lived, worked, and played together, be it ethnicity, be it social economic, be it faith-based. And that was his original dream when he created Interfaith, and fast forward to what it is today. And I think that's important. I think it's what has made the Woodlands different. I believe that with all my heart.
Okay, so I'm looking at the clock. I think we've got somewhere on the order of about 15 minutes left of questions.
15.
Started at 4:58.
Oh, we did, that's right, we did start early, so
4:58.
we are, let's say we started at 5, 7 minutes. maybe enough time to go around, finish going around table. Yes, or Pat.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I heard your answer to Larry's question about Agenda 21, which is an outgrowth of the UN Convention on Sustainability. Are you familiar with those terms?
No, see, I'm not, and you can tell with my answer, so,
Well, good thing to study up on. Let me ask you real quick about our county debt now.
okay.
Are you familiar with the county debt and how much Montgomery County owes and how much other counties in Texas owe? And
No,
how much the state of Texas owes? Well, if in the case where the township board would take a position on a bond debt, then surely you'd agree that they need to get up to speed on the current.
oh, I definitely do. There's many things that I probably do not know now. Will share with you, and I was a outstanding board member with the CISD Board of Trustees. With that said, my father, who was very wise, gave me advice when I was first elected, that even though I knew so much, maybe listen and learn. And I think that's important. I think the challenge with the township board is that the terms are so short. 2 years, but are very short. But it was the best advice that I was given. Studied very, very hard the first 3 to 4 months when I was on the board of trustees, and it's a priority. As if I'm elected to the township board, we'll do the very, very same.
So with the problem I see with all of these things, from skating rinks to museums to all that stuff, is somebody's got to pay for it, and then people get taxed out of their homes because the taxes are tremendous, and they got this tax on top of this tax on top of this tax. So how do you reconcile government spending all this stuff when it comes to people having to pay the tax, pay for it all?
Well, I'm for lower taxes. I know the township their tax rate went from 25 to 23 for 2016.
Well, the
I think
tax
you have to
rate
be
is
good.
different than the tax is. So
Oh, I
don't-
know, there's.
So don't
I
confuse
know.
them. The
Yeah.
tax rate may have gone down, but the tax dollars went up
On the-
for individuals. So it's not. I don't care about my tax rate. I just care about how much money comes out of my pocket.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So
Oh, of course.
so
it
how
is.
do you? I mean, lots of spending equates to lots of taxes. So
Well, I think then you look at the bigger picture and what we can and cannot do. And if it's something, for instance, that will tax people out of their homes, of course I'm not for that. What I have found is through my leadership on the school district as well as at Interfaith, is there's other sometimes funding sources other than taxes. It may be, if the fine arts is something that we really as a community would like, it may be another venue that we use to generate revenue than through the tax base. It may be through one of the larger endowments or grants. It may also be through individual donors. As was said, we do have a very affluent area in this community, and some ones may be interested in helping make that happen. Have always looked at alternatives with regard to the extras.
Okay. All right, so you've talked about roads, you've talked about transit, what about bikes? There's a significant community that are interested in better facilities for bikes.
Yeah. Well, no, we have a forum on Wednesday. My husband's a cyclist. We're not triathlon cyclists, but we ride a lot. Know that it's healthy. It's good. I don't know if the answer is what it was initially. The pathways initially were for the bikes and the joggers and everyone. No, last week when I rode my bike this morning before church, it's a challenge because the joggers or the walkers have headphones on and can't hear, and I like to ride the pathways. I feel safer than on the roads. There's alternatives. I know we are a bicycle-friendly community. We are the Browns level. The township has done a bike and mobility study. Now in Portland, Oregon, and Fort Collins, and several others who are platinum level, they have worked really hard to make it a win-win for the motorists as well as the cyclists. There's different ways that I think the township can look when the study comes back. I think we'll be back completely at the end of October. And know that the momentum from the 95 to today, that cycling has risen in the U.S. by almost 64%. And a good majority are do it for transportation to and from work. And in Washington D.C., if you look up online, they have an incredible cycling, as well as a lot of Chicago, I think, also does. Minneapolis, Minnesota does. So that I think it's well worth the study, and it could be help alleviate. You know, the one good thing, if there's a good thing about traffic, at least people here are going to jobs.
People here are going to what?
Jobs, employment.
Okay.
They got work.
Yeah, you know,
So you said jog, okay.
no, jobs.
Sorry.
You know, if there's a good thing.
Township board term limits, what's your opinion on term limits or no term
Well,
limits?
I think people vote you out when you're not doing a good job. Individual choice. I think their term is too short. I think by year 2, for a lot of people, they're already starting campaigning and not wanting to make decisions, that will upset your constituents. I'd like to see them 3 years, but I know they're 2 years.
Just 1 3-year term?
No, I think it's individual choice. I think people, if they are not happy with, that you vote people out.
Okay, number 11, do you think the Woodlands should become a city or remain incorporated?
Right now, if I had to choose, it would be to become incorporated. But I think that it's something that takes time. I think too that once we vote to be incorporated, the very next day we're incorporated. So we need to be sure that we have the infrastructure, have everything planned out to make sure that we can do what we need to do.
Do you have, I think we got 31 years or 30 years left.
Yes.
Do you have any idea of a time frame when we should start looking?
As
doing
far as
research.
doing that, I'm very patient, but I also am a very big advocate of research. I don't think it's ever too early to start looking at options.
Okay, let's see, number 9, the township budget funds all reserves 100% yearly. Should any surplus be returned to residents or retained in a rainy day fund? You said sound fiscal responsibility dictates that funds be put away for future needs. How much?
Well, it would depend upon how large the surplus is and what the needs are.
Okay, do you have an amount in mind that you would cap or just let it grow?
No, I think it'd be something, again, that I would need to study and see what the needs and the surplus would be.
Okay.
I don't
No-
think
no
sitting
cap.
here, I could say X, and being on the board, I might prove to be Y.
Okay, and then, let's see, what is the standard the township should set on general obligation debt? You said government debt should be kept at a low level and balanced with a low tax rate, but how much?
Again, I'm sharing with you, it's something that I would want to do more research and be better informed as a director of the township.
Okay, and would that also pertain to number 16, the current amount of county debt, a good or a bad thing, and
Yes.
why?
Yes. I took great pains with that, and you may say, why didn't you know and do all the studying prior to this? We'll share with you, from when the election is over until when the new board members go in January. We'll do 2 months worth of study, research, and meeting with the township staff and be well prepared.
Okay, about 30 seconds left. We did a significant amount of work on this road bond. There was a group of us, and then Ken was a transportation engineer. And basically, we are the ones that campaigned against this. So there was enough research out there
Against the one this November?
against the first one,
Yes.
right, in
yes.
May. But you were for that.
I voted for it.
Okay, but we determined that there was a lot of pork in there,
Well,
like
agree.
60%. And then
And the
also,
maintenance.
kind of like the schools, maybe even worse for the schools, is that you got all this M&O hanging over our heads that they, you know, in the road bond, they were trying to put into, or the M&O they were trying to put in the road bond when we already pay taxes on it. Kind of the same thing happened up in Montgomery, 57 million of M&O. And you know, the most amount of taxes we pay are school taxes.
Mhm.
So how do you kind of reconcile voting for the road bond and that much pork when it was very well known out there, even though our opponents who were supporting the bond or pushing for the bond, the commissioners, didn't allude to that? Or, and we're saying that there's no pork in there, that every project was justified.
Yeah. I was looking at the road bond as to something that needed to be done to help alleviate the congestion and the whole, especially East County, the Oak Ridge, east of 45, that it needed to be. Consequently afterwards, some of the things that I evidently did not pursue hard enough, that I did not, I was wrong on the M&O. And I think the bond that is for this November is needed, and we'll vote for it unless it's not allowed on the ballot.
Okay. We got about 2 minutes. Anybody else have a pressing question here that we didn't cover?
I have one question. If
Okay.
you seem to have a pretty full plate,
Uh-huh.
how can you handle the township on what you already have?
Okay, well, always give 110%, have a family, especially my husband, who is the one beneath my wings. I don't know, he just has always been so very, very supportive of everything I do. It's something I believe in and that I would do. There's men on the board who do it and do it very easily, and I think I'm just as competent and can do that. There's never been anything that I've done that I have not given 110%. Some of the things that I'm doing right now, some of the boards I will, if elected, I will roll off, and they know that.